Alrighty, so the matinee game is all done right now, and the good thing about these matinee game done relatively early is the fact that I got pretty much 90 minutes to burn after finishing this review before the busy action of the Saturday night action begin, which is the first of 9 games that's going to be starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern all the way to midnight 30 a.m. Eastern time. But with that being said, let us actually get into the first game of these matinee games. Well, this of course is the first two that starts around the same time of 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific, and that of course is the New York Red Bulls and Orlando City. So I forgot to mention in the preview that this was actually the rematch of the Eastern Conference final last year, and I wouldn't mind we might see another one of these kind of matchup again in the playoffs because this was actually a really fun game between both teams. And I gotta say, as much as Orlando City has still continue to get off to this bit of a slow start to the season, their games have been pretty entertaining to watch, and it feels like every game that they involve has to be at least feature 5+ goals in a game. Now, in the first half, the first shot of the game did see Muriel puts it high from close range before the first shot for the Red Bulls sees Stroud deflected right to Galese. Galese then denied Younger from close as the Red Bulls were on the front foot early. They were looking for the opener. The possession was 59 to 41 in favor of the Red Bulls, which is kind of odd because the Red Bulls is a team that don't like to have possession, but Orlando City clearly had a game plan coming into this one that we're gonna let the Red Bulls have most of the possession. Let's see if they can break us down, and more times or not, the Red Bulls have had their issue when it comes to creating chances when they have the possession. And in the 18th minute, Orlando City would get the lead of this game as Ojeda would score for Muriel to make it 1-0 in favor of Orlando City. That came off of a lightning counter attack, which is exactly what Oscar dreamed of in terms of how he played this game. I mean, with them just kind of sitting back and trying to hit on the transition and trying to score a goal. That's exactly what happened in that moment. Choupo-Moting did look to respond, but he puts it wide. But then a penalty was given to the Red Bulls as VAR deemed that Schlegel brought down Choupo-Moting in the box. Now, I can understand why Orlando City fans are a little frustrated about this call. It does look a little bit soft. I mean, it kind of looked like Choupo-Moting draws the foul there. And actually, I say Schlegel. It was actually Janssen, the one that commits the foul there. But it looked like Choupo-Moting was kind of dangling his leg, almost like he was drawing the foul there. But nevertheless, VAR says that's deemed to be a penalty. So here comes Choupo-Moting, a chance to score his first career MLS goal from the spot, and he does. So that ties the game up at one apiece. There was then some concern for Orlando as Galese need treatment for a knee injury. Fortunate for Orlando City, he stayed into this game. Though again, depending on who you ask, that might not be a fortunate thing because Galese has had his struggle early in the season. But that being said, in the 36th minute, Orlando gets the lead back. It's Pasalic. He scored from Atuesta to give Orlando a 2-1 lead. Safe to say that Pasalic has got off to a great start for this Orlando City side, and that I know it's still early days, but he seems like he's an ideal replacement for Facu Torres. Though that being said, the Red Bulls kind of stopped playing, thinking the flag was gonna come up. Like as the ball played through Passage went in on goal, they pretty much stopped thinking that the flag came up, and it never did. And they did even check VAR to see whether or not indeed that was onside, and indeed it was. It was actually Edwards, the ones that play him in an onside position. But just like that, Orlando City retake the lead. Frostberg did look for an instant response, but he puts it high in the 40th minute. And we do head to halftime with Orlando City leading 2-1. The lead didn't last long heading into the second half because 2 minutes into it, Younger would score from Stroud to tie the game up at two apiece. And again, up to this point, I'm thinking, oh boy, this is going to be one of those games for Orlando City, isn't it? They just always have to have games that feature a ton of goals in their games. But in the 52nd minute, Edwards would puts it wide from the near post as I thought the Red Bulls had started well, and really Orlando clearly did not start on time coming out of the second half. Clearly did not come out of the locker room route as the Red Bulls would continue to press for the lead. Galese would then deny Nealis from close. There was another shout for a penalty for the Red Bulls, this time not given. Muriel then puts one right to Cornell in the 63rd minute before he denied Pasalic from close as Orlando finally woke up to this point after a really slow start to the second half. It looked like they want the lead back. Ojeda would flash it wide from close before Younger was in on goal there, but he puts that one wide. And that moment kind of looked very similar to what we saw last season for the Red Bulls, missing some chances to cost them points at home. Then there was a shout for a penalty and a handball for Orlando, this time not given. Chaballo would then puts one into the stands in the 81st minute before Younger, which took the post on the curler in the 85th minute, as now the Red Bulls were pressing late for the winner. But as I said that, late in this game, Cornell would deny Santos before right to Maguire, but his shot was blocked. And then he had to deny Berkelo from close range. Yeah, the momentum was swinging left and right. It feels like it was a pendulum in terms of how the momentum was in this game. But up to this point, now all of a sudden, Orlando was the one that pressing late for the winner. Schlegel tried to do so in the 6 minute stoppage time, but he puts it high from close range. But in the end, in a very entertaining 4 goal game, we end in a 2-2 draw between both of these teams, and the stats kind of prove the fact that, I think this is a fair result for both of these teams. Exactly at 15 shots, 6 shots on goal for the 7 that Orlando City had, 3 shots off target for the 4 that the Red Bulls had, 3 shots that was blocked for the 2 that Orlando City has, and possession wise, 55% possession compared to the 45% possession that Orlando City has in this game. And normally, when you have a game like this, you would assume the road team would be the more happier side, though knowing the slow start this Orlando City side has got, and really the slow start from them is not on the attack. They are scoring goals this season. It's the defense that's been a big problem so far this season, and this is a game that Oscar Pereira will not be happy once again with how his defense have played. But for the Red Bulls, they will be very frustrated. The fact that, yeah, this kind of felt something similar to what we saw last year, where they were giving chances to score more than the 2 goals in this one, had some big opportunity, unable to do so, and they drop points as a resort, and they'll be very frustrated that they couldn't get all 3 points in this game. Now, moving on, we got Toronto versus the Chicago Fire. So there was no doubt that, I will say, for TFC, at least early in this game, they actually play probably the best that they had throughout the season. But then the rest of the game, yeah, again, we know that this team is going to be bad this season, and this is why as much as I hate to say it, but they are the Santa Claus of MLS. They're giving 3 points away to team, and Chicago is the latest team to do so. And with this win, also the Fire has already matched the total number of wins that they have on the road compared to the last season. Now, early on, Toronto had most of the possession early on, as the Fire seems like they're happy to sit back. Gutman would then puts one into the stands from long range, but then on the first shot for TFC, it's in the back of the net. It's the DeAndre Kerr. He scored from Benedeski and Osorio to give TFC a 1-0 lead. Gomes almost made it 2-0 as he just missed one on the cross in the back post. I thought TFC was very dangerous when it comes to those ball deliver into the box. Chicago was having some problem dealing with that. So that being said, they almost tied it up in the 22nd minute when the post denied Orgel from close range, but eventually they do tie it up just 1 minute later, as Andrew Gutman would score to tie the game up at 1 apiece. And guess what? It came off a bad turnover from TFC. Yeah, that's something we're gonna say pretty much almost every single week. This time, the latest culprit is Benedeski just trying to dribble out of his own half, got pickpocket, and then just some really bad closing down for Andrew Gutman. I mean, Andrew Gutman has shown the ability to score from long range. He might be one of the more underrated long range goal scored in this league, and he buries that one to tie the game up at 1 apiece. And just like that, the momentum was with Chicago as they were pushing to try to get the lead. I thought TFC continued to have some turnover problem as the half goes along. Johnson would then deny Gutierrez on the free kick, but then it was recycle. And there was Pineda a chance to toe poke that one in the back post, couldn't quite do so. But 1 minute later, the Fire would take the lead. It's Hugo Kuipers. He scored from Barroso to give the Fire a 2-1 lead as Hugo Kuipers continue his good goal scoring form. Not only he's going to be a 15 plus goal scorer this season, maybe even in contention for the Golden Boot, although he's going to have some catching up to do with Ty Baribo being the top dog so far when it comes to the Golden Boot race early in this season. Benedeski did try to respond, but he hits one right to Brady in the 5th minute stoppage time, and we do head to halftime with the Fire leading 2-1. In the second half, I thought TFC had a couple of chances, but not really trouble much in terms of Brady and his goal. Kuipers was then in on goal there, but he missed wide. Yeah, that is one that Hugo Kuipers will want to have back, especially with how hot he's been. You would have bet that he would have put that one away. Benedeski then puts it wide from close range, and then Kuipers looked like he got his second off the game. And to be fair, he kind of stole an Olympic goal that Gutierrez score here because this one would have been in the back of net, yeah, even if Kuipers didn't touch it. But it didn't really matter because VAR deemed that Haile Selassie fouled Johnson in the box there. And again, I know Fire fans are not going to be happy with this, but in this kind of situation where we always know that the goalkeeper will always get the benefit of the doubt. It doesn't matter if it's light contact or so forth, as long as you tangle with the goalkeeper, and even if Johnson maybe sold it a little bit there, yeah, they're always going to get the goalkeeper the benefit of the doubt. And when I saw that, I immediately knew that that was going to be overturned. So yeah, it remains a 2-1 game. And really, as the time winds down, TFC try to push for the equalizer while the Fire were trying to close this game out. And they did a pretty good job of it because, TFC, they don't really have too much going for it on their attack. Though Brady did had to make a save to deny Cinematic in the near post. And as the full-time whistle was blown, the TFC player, they were not happy. The fact that the ball went out for a corner and the referee blow for the full-time whistle, yeah, I can understand. Anytime when the corner is about to be taken, you want the referee to not blow the full-time whistle, even though we're past that. But nevertheless, Chicago gets another win on the road, and like I said, they've already equaled the same amount of road win that they had last season compared to this year with a 2-1 win. Shots in this one, 11 shots compared to 5 that TFC had, 2 shots on goal compared to 4 that the Fire has, 2 shots off target compared to 1 that Toronto has, 2 shots on block compared to 4 that the Chicago Fire has, and possession-wise, 50% for both of these teams. So another good victory for the Fire, and for TFC. Again, they're basically counting days already for this season to be over. In fact, when I do the emotion index, I might actually just put TFC in a special box saying "See you next season" because it feels like this team has already been in "See you next season" mode since day one of this year. Now, moving on into the last game of these matinee action is LAFC versus Austin FC, and this was a surprise. This might be one of the more surprising sort of this week, mainly because again, LAFC, they have won the last 6 against Austin FC, but here in this game, I will say that Austin, they kind of made it a little tough on themselves in this one because they probably should have won more than 1-0 in this one if it wasn't for the lack of finishing in this game from themselves as well. Though early on, Stuver would deny Bawanga in the near post, as I thought LAFC was on the front foot. They were pushing for the opener. The first shot for Austin, see Uzuni had a shot that was deflected and goes wide. I thought Uzuni had a good game in this one too, though again, one of the frustrating thing about Uzuni coming out of this game is that his finishing needs to be worked on because yeah, as well mentioned, he missed big chance late or he missed a big chance here in the second half that probably would have put Austin in a more comfortable position late in this game. But that being said, in the 12th minute, Austin would take a 1-0 lead as Barrow would score from Wolf from the corner to give Los Verdes a 1-0 lead. And yeah, that is one that Lloris would want to have back. I mean, that was not a great goal. Lloris probably should have saved that. He definitely got a hand to it. He might have kind of got interfered by his own teammate Tillman there, but the caliber of the goalkeeper that Hugo Lloris have shown and the amount of big save they have done, that is one that he will absolutely say that he should have saved did. But nevertheless, Austin wouldn't care. They were up 1-0 up to this point. Palencia looked to response, but he puts one into side netting as LAFC was pressing hard to get the equalizer early on. There was a shout for a penalty for LAFC not given. Unda would then cross it just wide from close range. I thought it was a great game for Chingas Unda. You can clearly see what he brings to the table. He really reminds me of Denise Bawanga in terms of what he brings to the table and his desire to drive on the defense every single time. Sevovic then puts it wide from close in the 28th minute. LAFC backline had clearly not started on time in this game. I mean, that backline looked very wobbly early in this game. And for a backline that for a long time, they have not conceded a goal. There was at one point they've gone over 400 minutes without conceding a goal. Ever since that happened, yeah. Ever since that Seattle game, this backline has not looked the same ever since that. But the possession was still heavily favored LAFC, 60-40 in favor of them, and this is going to be a problem that LAFC is going to have to figure out, and something that Steve Criminal has to figure out. The fact that teams are simply just going to give them the possession. They're going to be happy to give them the possession because LAFC, at least from what we've seen early in the season, they had their issue when it comes to trying to break down a low block. And it's not a big surprise because some of these key players that they lost this offseason, like Boguj and Oliveira, those are key guys that could have actually unlocked the defense. And with the way that Bawanga has just getting double team almost every single time, they don't really have that creative player that they desperately needed to give some creativity to this team. So in the 40th minute, Sevovic would then puts it wide from long range. As the shots was 7-4 for LAFC, but I thought Austin had more of the quality chances up to this point. But we do head to halftime with Los Verdes leading 1-0. In the second half, Undo would cross it just wide on the curler in the 46th minute. Before on the other end, Ilya would puts one into the stands. If Ilya put that into the back of the net, I'm assuming he's not going to celebrate. I mean, you know that he is still very well loved in the LAFC fan base. They gave him a great standing ovation to before the game as well. So yeah, there's no doubt that if he buries that one, while it would be an amazing goal, he's probably not going to celebrate against his former team. But there is no doubt that LAFC continue to have possession, but again, they just cannot crack this Brazilian Austin back line throughout this game. Uzuni then missed an absolute sitter on the doorstep of goal, and this is not the one I was talking about. Where again, when you are a DP kind of level player, and the money that Austin spent, that is one that Uzuni has to bear in the back of the net, and that is one that he knows it, and certainly Austin know that they hope that he can get things going as well, because yeah, I know it's gonna take time for him to settle in, and he has of course shown some promise at least getting into the right spot, but it's all about the finishing, and when you're signed as a goal scorer, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if you get yourself in a good position. If you can't finish, that's gonna be a big disappointing signing. But I also thought that again, will that chance come back to haunt Austin? Because at this point, I didn't think that Austin was gonna just hold on to this 1-0 lead. You would assume LAFC eventually gonna find an equalizer, right? Well, they almost did, but Stuver with an absolute incredible save to rob Bawanga in the doorstep of goal. This was another game where Stuver was at it again when it comes to stealing your game for Austin FC, as we saw a lot of that last season as well. Bakari then puts it way wide long range before Martinez puts it wide from close in the 67th minute. And you just kind of feel like this game is on a knife edge with the way that, it was getting really heavily close. Both of these teams having some chances to get that second goal. Bawanga then curls one into the 3-2-5-2. We then had some coming together after Stuver basically shoved Tillman after he got absolutely decked by Tillman there. And again, Brad Stuver is probably the last guy you want to make trying to make contact and trying to infuriate him, because he's a guy that is not shy in terms of showing some emotion after something that he doesn't like. Bawanga then puts it into the 3-2-5-2 again. It's bend but don't break for Austin. I mean, they were holding on to this one nothing lead, holding on to this massive shock. Hollinshead had a shot that was deflected and right to Stuver before Obrian looked to finish it, but he puts it high. There was more pushing and shoving late in this game as well, but in the end, Austin survived. They win for the first time in their last 7 matchup against LAFC, and now they've already won twice against LAFC on the road. They're another team that seems like LAFC has had their issue when it play against this Los Verdes team at home. But the shots in this one, 15 shots for the 10 that Austin had. Both team had 3 shots on goal. Both team had 7 shots off target. 4 shots that was blocked for the none that Austin has. And possession-wise, 66% possession compared to 34% possession that Austin has in this game. And like I said, with LAFC, this is going to be something that they have to figure it out as the season goes along. This is clearly the blueprint to beat LAFC. I think Minnesota kind of showed that blueprint in the beginning of the season of how they were staying compact, and as long as you don't make any mistake against this LAFC team and you stay compact, you can definitely get points even on the road against LAFC. Now, obviously, that's easier set to be done, and I think Austin did a really good job on the defensive shape here. Really stay commit throughout the full 90 minutes. But for LAFC, they need to figure this out. Like, the teams are gonna try to bunker against them. Teams are gonna make them have the ball and trying to break them down. And the fact that for most part of this season they haven't shown that ability to do so, that is going to be a big concern for Steve Chernow and his side, unless if they can figure something out. But there you have it. That is pretty much it in terms of the review of these matinee games. Like I said, we got a bit of a break before we get the busy 9-game action that's going to be happening later tonight. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you like, smash the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below what do you think of these free games. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.